All right, guys, we have a question from the listeners. So let me pull it up on my email, Fern, Todd. I'm going to read it, and then we'll dive into this. So, you know me. I don't like to pat myself on the back or toot my own horn, but let me read the beginning of this. Chanel and I wanted to thank you for publishing your book, Best Hour of Their Day. Wow, that's really. I appreciate that. It's really nice since I don't get many compliments from you two.
Nobody wrote that. He wrote that to himself. It's in his signature block in his email.
Yeah, that's his signature. That's his header block that he
Let me
sends to people
continue.
that says that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank me.
He has it.
This is me thanking myself. Yeah.
Any email he receives, that's the automatic header.
You have a signature, I have a header. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It was a great read and had quite a few solid takeaways, not only for ourselves, but that we can also give to our coaching team. We put out a little podcast mostly for our coaches' continuing education and as entertainment for our athletes, and we enjoy doing a deep dive on your book and think it will inspire, motivate many in our crew to pursue excellence. Well, there's the
question
podcast.
Here? Is there a question?
There's the podcast. Let's just call it there. All right, I'll get to the question. There's more. Let me pull it up. We also wanted to thank you for the podcast in general. While Fern and Todd are not quite as smart, entertaining, or attractive as you.
Yeah, right.
So so here's the question. We are in a weird circumstance in being relatively experienced and committed CrossFit coaches. One of them is a level 2 and one of them is a level 3. I'm just not saying their name in case they don't want it being broadcast. And they're also in the internship process for staff. And yet the company we work for has decided, it's not clear, but I bet you it's only one because only one has their level 3.
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
Probably just the one with the level 3. And the company we work for has decided to let their affiliate status lapse. We were not really on board with this decision, but it wasn't ours to make. We would love to hear what your advice is for coaches in our situation. But regardless, your podcast is always a source of intelligent insight and old school CrossFit outlook and adaptability that keeps us thinking positive. So there's the question, all the best, sign these guys. Let's dive into that. I mean, to sum up the question, hey, I coach CrossFit, my box is deaffiliating. What should I do?
So a couple things. I mentioned it before we got started with this. Is I'm curious to see who actually follows through with that. Just who stated that they were going to deaffiliate and then actually do. So one, I'd be like, you might hold on because it might not turn out the way that you initially thought or somebody initially communicated. And then beyond that, if they do actually truly, not renew their affiliate moving forward, I look at it as your role as a coach doesn't change regardless of what the branding on the outside of the building says. So I think your job is to, take care of your clients, the athletes that you're dealing with, make it their best hour of the day. And I don't think you change anything as far as your coaching goes in that particular scenario. Now, does that reignite your idea to think about what you want to do long term and potentially move towards working at a different actual affiliate or opening your own spot or doing something like that? Maybe your long-term vision changes based on your desire to actually be with a CrossFit affiliate. But I think in the short term, you hold tight, you keep doing what you're doing, you keep, coaching the way that you've been coaching and sharing the information and knowledge that you got from CrossFit and just kind of see where things go in the future, but maybe adjust your plans more long-term.
I mean, so if we take the way you just said, Todd, a couple of things, I think you're absolutely right. We said it early on. No one has actually de-affiliated. All they've done is say, hey, I'm not paying my dues when they come due again. But that's not necessarily de-affiliating just yet, right? There's a second step. It's like, okay, you're going to get an email probably. I don't know what happens these days. You get an email from CrossFit that you're affiliate. Actually, you guys wouldn't even know, right? So, yeah, but you still get the email?
We both own multiple affiliates, so yeah, right?
Yeah.
You've seen that stuff. But yeah, so there's very few people I think that sent an email actually de-affiliating in removing their status during a year that they've already paid for.
Right. No different than the games athletes that are like, I'm not competing. Like, because you said something on social media, or like, are you actually writing a letter to Dave Castro and with, it's all these companies basically just put it out there, but no one has actually gone through the process of actually doing it.
Fewer than
I'm not even in, it's a process. I think it's just, you just don't renew it. And then I'm assuming you would get some sort of notification and email that says, hey, it's lapsed. You're now no longer allowed to use methodology and the name and everything that comes along with an affiliate license.
Yeah, I think there's a couple ways to do it, right? Would be one, not renewing, and two would be like literally sending the email that says, hey, I'm out. And then
there was
speed up the process.
Yeah, there was definitely, I don't know how many it was, but there were some gyms that reached out to HQ and said, take us off the affiliate map. We're no longer affiliated, and it is what it is. We're parting ways. And I would imagine those are people that were already positioned to do that, meaning like they probably weren't CrossFit Rife. They were Rife Fitness or something of that nature, and were using the affiliate name in order to use the methodology. Everybody else basically just said that they were going to leave, but like you've already stated, that just means I'm not going to renew, which at the same time means that there's two scenarios. Either it sounds like that affiliate actually lapsed from the way you read that email. So I don't know if that's accurate, but it sounds like it is. If that's the case, that's a whole separate discussion. But everybody else who's worried about this, you still have the same concerns, but not until a later date. Right?
Well,
you're good.
They say
you're good as long as their affiliate is intact.
They have decided to let their affiliate status lapse. It's hard to tell if that's past.
Okay, so then, so we could, so we could, let's assume that it hasn't, it didn't lapse, that it hasn't lapsed yet.
But assume they're going to, right?
They're going to.
The first thing I want to pose a question to you two, but before I say that, it's like the three of us have discussed this numerous times. This is why you need to open your own box, right? If you work for someone else, kind of like Todd said, you have to take the good with the bad. And that doesn't matter what company you work for. If you work for any company out there, they're going to make decisions that you don't necessarily like. And that's the beauty of CrossFit. It's not a very expensive business venture. There's not a lot of obstacles. Both of these guys have a level 2 or level 3. So they've already hit the minimum requirement of having your level 1.
Well, I don't know that opening your own box is the first. Like they could have real jobs, and that's.
I agree, but point is, we hear a lot of people complain. We've talked about it in the past. Coaches complaining about their box owners.
You can leave.
You can leave.
You can leave. You can leave.
But let me pose this question to you guys. We work on the weekends. We got a new boss, kinda, right? At this point, what if he's like, hey, by the way, we're not CrossFit anymore. We're, Rosa Fit. You're going to teach basically the same thing, but we're calling it something else. Would that impact you guys? Would you care? Because that's basically what this guy is saying.
That's different because that's the person who owns the entity, and now I don't know if this is legally accurate, but now owns the IP, so he could call it whatever he wants.
Right. So
but it's the same thing as a gym that changes its name, right? Here's the deal for me.
Well, not really, because that IP is still owned by somebody else. So regardless of what we call it, there's still an IP facet to this, which is the methodology, which everybody signed in their affiliate licensing agreement, whether they liked it or not, that if you are going to trade money for this service and use this methodology, it has to be a licensed affiliate. So whether we call it Rosa Fit or CrossFit or whatever is irrelevant. The agreement would still be in place, or that IP aspect of it would still be in place. So you could still be in effect doing something that would resemble IP theft if you let it lapse and then continue to use all of this and promote it the same way. Like there would be no change to it.
Yeah, but they're not probably not responsible for promoting. They're in the gym teaching people how to squat, teaching people how to clean and jerk and do pull-ups, right? So that's what we're assuming that they're based on. So that is like what Jay said, is if we were still teaching the same seminars, but the seminars weren't called the CrossFit Level 1, they were called something else, And if I'm still doing the same thing and I'm still making the same impact on the people that are there on the weekends, and I still believe in the values of what we're sharing, I don't know that that would change very much for me. If they change the name of those seminars, at this point, there would have to be additional changes that came along with it that would cause me to no longer agree with what's happening, which would make me want to change things and move.
Yeah, I would agree. The methodology would have to be revamped completely to where they're just like, hey, no, you should do traditional bodybuilding and never mix modalities, and helping people isn't what we're about. I'd be like, I don't know if I'm down for that. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I don't know that, that's kind of why I said, like, I think your job as a coach is to continue to do the same thing. What the owners have decided to do is kind of on them. You can state your case for what you believe in or think that they should do, and but then also respect the fact that they're going to have their own opinion and they're going to be able to make their own decisions on what they want to call their gym and if they want to be affiliated or not. The thing that I would warn these coaches about is I have seen it before where owners make decisions to do something with their business and some of the coaches aren't on board, and then those rumblings and that disagreement spills over beyond the conversation of the owner and coaches, and now all of a sudden you've got coaches that are down talking the owners or the new programming or the new workouts. And it's like, if that's the case, you're turning into a cancer with inside the walls of the gym, and you probably need to move on. It's like, even if you don't agree with it, you need to either be all in or all out. There's no 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can't be talking to some of the members and being like, yeah, I can't believe how stupid he is for, disaffiliating. And I can't believe that this workout is so dumb or whatever. If you decide that you want to still be a part of the team, you need to be a part of the team.
I think it's a fair option, and I would even go so far as to, if you're going to do that, I think it's worth recognizing that you're making that decision on your own. So I'm a coach and an affiliate, and I work at Drive Fitness, and they decided not to affiliate for whatever reason.
I would never hire you.
Yeah, no chance.
Probably not. But the point would be that what typically happens is exactly what Todd was talking about, is like they're talking shit essentially, and then they try to get other people to go with them, when the actual professional thing to do is just leave, not take anybody with. Don't do this. You created an ordeal. It's just like, this is my decision. My job, my responsibility here is not to convince other people of some other stuff that's going on. It's just like, I couldn't deal with it and I'm leaving. And if other people happen to do that because they also agree with it, then that's on them. But this idea that like everybody has to agree with me is what a lot of people miss the boat. And I think if you're going to do that as a coach, just leave professionally and say, I agree with this. And if you wanted some, because I guess there probably might exist a scenario where like they could be at some risk of liability because they signed a trainer licensing agreement as well. And if they're in a facility that's doing that or paying for that service, is somebody going to come after you? I don't know, but you're technically in breach of that contract. Like if people are getting money for that service and it's not affiliated anymore, if we want to go to the book. So you just say, hey, listen, like, I don't agree with it. That's not the agreement that I made with CrossFit. So I'm going to leave. And then another affiliate's going to get a level 3 coach and a level 2 coach, like I tried he was going to buy an affiliate. And I was like, don't do it. He said, why? And I said, because you just told me that you wanted to do X, Y, and Z. You don't have to know an affiliate to do either one of those things. You need to go coach. So walk into another affiliate, say, I want to be your head coach. How would that work? And it might be a better deal. You could get all of the coaching you want in a better facility, without any of the hassle. So I just, explore your options and don't feel like it's like this weird, scenario where all you have is like stay or, start your own affiliate. Like there's a lot of things in between.
Yeah. I mean, I think something we need to explore is, like you were saying, if they stay here and they're no longer an affiliate, how do they feel about continuing to coach the CrossFit methodology? That's really the tough position, because you may be, hey, I want to do the right thing by CrossFit and by these other things. And then because of, these guys de-affiliating, I don't feel right coaching the methodology anymore.
And if, the same deal, if you don't feel comfortable there, then I think it's on you to do the responsible thing and leave. It's
yeah, and I don't think you should feel bad about it. I think you should just state your position, which is legit. It's a legit stance. Like whether you agree with it or not, it is legit if we go by the rule of law, if you will, but like based on what is actually allowed and what's not allowed. Yeah, like that was legit. And the gym owner, realistically is probably going to be the one who loses this year, because if you're losing a level 3 and a level 2 coach, that's probably not an insignificant impact to the gym and the business and the product that you're providing. But I don't know. It's probably worth multiple discussions. You know what I mean? Just to see and just kind of let the owners know or not. I don't know where you feel about that, Todd, but like just say, listen, this is what we're thinking about. This is where our head's at. And we're not saying you should change it, but just letting you know, like if this is what we're going to do, we're probably going to bounce.
Yeah, that would.
Go
ahead,
yeah, I
Todd.
was going to say, like, the more open and clear you can be with your communication, the better off. Like, as the owner, it's like, I appreciate when somebody comes to me and states their opinion on the way that they want to do things, or the way they feel about the way we've chosen to do things. And especially the longer you're in this, I think early on, I was a little bit more insecure. And so I tried to defend my choices a little bit more. I think, like I said, because I was more so insecure, but the more secure you are in your role as the owner and in the decisions that you're making, somebody coming and voicing their concern lends itself to an open dialogue about, hey, here's why I'm doing it. This is the reason. And, then you as the coach have the opportunity to get on board and try to see through your owner's eyes why they're actually doing it. And once again, that's just going to provide more information for you to make your decision moving forward. So I think going and having that open communication, hey, or maybe not stating your concern, but just as much asking the question, hey, why are you doing this? Is it because of a tweet? Is it because you saw 4 other gyms do it? Is it because everybody else was doing? If so, well, then let's talk about that a little bit more. I want to understand really what's going on. If it's because your vision for the gym is no longer for it to be a CrossFit affiliate and you're going to do more, whatever it is, personal training or boot camp classes, or you're bringing in something else, then it's like, it probably makes sense to continue forward with a CrossFit affiliate. And that probably also is going to dictate, what you do coaching wise. Hey, if this is going to be a boot camp going forward and I don't really want to coach a boot camp, well, then that's going to help me make my decision to find, coaching opportunities elsewhere.
Well, and I think as a box owner, who knows this scenario, but there's a chance these are their 2 head coaches, like Fern said, or these are just 2 very good coaches that the community likes. And if they brought this up to the owner, there's a chance you can have an influence over, like you said, is it, hey, if you're doing this because of a tweet or because other boxes, let me give you my side of the story. Let me give you my opinion. And just so you know, if you do decide to de-affiliate, that's going to impact whether or not we stay. If those were your 2 best coaches, you may think twice about de-affiliating now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my only kind of reservation with that is like I think that's probably a conversation you'd have to rehearse several times so that when you do voice it, it shouldn't sound like an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Right. It shouldn't be presented like, if you do this, we're going to leave. I think you should just state where your feelings are at and not say anything. Just like, we just really don't feel comfortable coaching at a gym that is using this and not affiliated. Like, we just wanted to let like whatever you guys are going to do is what you're going to do. But like, that's just how we feel. And then that's it. You're not saying like, if you don't change it, we're going to leave. And if you do, we're going to stay. You're just like, that's where I'm at. Just so you know. And I think it probably be received a little bit better, or at least more of an open conversation instead of you just presenting them with if X then Y, and then those generally don't turn out well. But I don't know. That's a tough one, but I also think, who knows, they even go through with it. Just ask them questions. When does affiliate? And then, and if you want it, I guess if you wanted to do it better, you're not at odds during the conversation. You could just approach it lines of, but to kind of a little bit more on what Todd says, understand, but also let them understand it, because I'm going to get questions about this and I want to be able to answer it the way that you want me to answer it as an affiliate owner. Just help me help you instead of questions back.
I think that's fair. Is Fern breaking up for you, Todd, or just me?
Yeah, it's a little bit for me too.
Why can't Fern get good Wi-Fi in Virginia?
It's because there's a nuclear disposal place down there.
No, it must be yours, Ackerman. It's all the plutonium blown in the air.
So anyway, I hope we answered that question. I know typical our style, there's no do this or do that, but just things to consider. And hopefully we helped influence your decision one way or the other. But I think one thing that we always try to preach and encourage people to do is have those conversations. Anything else to add? Are you guys going to stay affiliates? I think CrossFit should go opposite and travel around and decide maybe some places shouldn't be affiliates anymore. Like, we're going to start getting rid of you. That's what they should do. All you guys that want to de-affiliate, guess what? You're out.
Just do a little quality assurance check.
Yeah, a little secret shopper. Send us out on season 2 of Dropping In. You know,
if you were gonna
that's such a
if you were gonna de-affiliate people, what would your, just right off the top, what would be your
That's
criteria?
exactly what I was thinking, dude. What's gonna dictate whether they deserve to be de-affiliated? That's it just gets me so fired up about people that start complaining about other gyms.
well, I mean, you'd have to reassess what the minimum requirement is to own an affiliate, right? So right now it's a level 1. And you'd have to say, okay, this is my expectation of someone that owns a gym with a level 1 certificate, right? I can't go to a gym, expect coaching from Todd or Fern or, one of the other people on staff when we've got so much time under tension. So that's where it's a challenge.
Exactly my point. And so I always, this is going to take us off topic to some degree, but that's where it's like, I've heard people be like, well, you shouldn't be able to coach in an affiliate unless you have a level 2. You shouldn't be able to own an affiliate until you have a level 3. Well, how do I get good enough to have a level 2 with never going through the process of coaching? Like, how does that work? I can't coach until I'm good enough to have a level 2, which you could go and take a level 2 without having any experience. But it's essentially like, you can't coach until you're a good coach. Well, guess what? I'll never be a good coach without coaching and being a bad coach to start with. So, it would
limit people's opportunity to do so, because if it was level 3, whatever, I mean, level 3 would be the most obvious cutoff point, right? Because it displays the most level of knowledge, and it's an actual certification. The level 2 is not currently accredited, I don't think. So that'd be a hard, weird, arbitrary metric to make that line in the sand. So at that point, how many level 3s are there? 1,500?
Right. And how do you get the experience enough to pass your level 3 without coaching on the floor? And what if you're in a country that doesn't have any other affiliates and you're going to open up the first one? How do you go somewhere else and do it? It's just, there's so many, I just feel like that argument's not thought out very well. And then if you want to go, all right, well, I'm going to make someone's move. I'm going to go into a gym and I'm going to look at how well people move. And that's going to dictate whether you're allowed it or not. Well, if we walked in and Adam was doing a workout, no one would let that gym continue moving forward. That guy's knees are touching. He moves like
he'd get
trash.
Cut immediately.
Right. So that's a bad argument, in my opinion.
Well,
you want to be a CrossFit affiliate.
The truth is, half the people that say something like that aren't good enough coaches. They wouldn't cut the mustard. They wouldn't have an affiliate.
They wouldn't be the guys, or half of them. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, yes.
It's like the people that show up to level 2s thinking they're great coaches and like, they they have no comparison either. They just think they're a great coach because they haven't seen good coaching. They might be good compared to what they've heard of, but they're still not good. So anyway,
it's all a relative term.
Exactly.
We should do a full podcast on that, on like what would CrossFit quality assurance look like.
Ooh, that's the next episode. Yeah, I like it. Quality assurance. Cool. All right. Well, we hope we answered that question. Any last comments, Todd or Fern?
I want to read something. Just got this in the inbox. This is from Dr. Jenkins. It starts with, I just want to lead with the fact that Jay is the shorter and weaker of the two hosts, which is statistically accurate by every measure.
Yeah.
He just said, I just thought I'd pass something along that you might want to hear. A friend of mine at the gym, newish athlete, maybe 2 years into CrossFit, 50 or so years old, told me that one of my interviews on Best Hour completely changed his approach to working out. The conversation was about scaling and essentially the concept that scaling is not only okay, but actually beneficial from a fitness standpoint. I don't recall the specifics at all, but it sounds like something we'd have talked about. Ever since then, he's been all about the scaled life, to use his exact words. Pretty cool. So scaling isn't a crime, everybody.
Yeah.
Pretty
Jay.
sure that was the interview I did with him. Just so you know.
Yeah, if anybody can find that interview that Jay did with Dr. Jenkins, let me know.
I did one interview with him. You did more, but I did one. He's a good dude. But yeah, I'm all about that scaled life. I'm hitting 30 rounds every day right now, Todd. I think today's day 6, maybe?
Jumping pull-ups and knee push-ups. Is that right?
No.
Wait, 30 rounds of what? 30 rounds of what?
I'm doing 30 rounds of Cindy for 30 days.
Did you do Murph?
Not this year.
Not this year. We did it last weekend.
I guess I could do I could do Murph with that and then do 10 rounds after, or do Murph with 30 rounds in the middle.
I was pleasantly surprised with my score.
Less than an hour?
My second fastest time ever.
Really? What
You go
was it?
fast?
Yeah. 38:20.
Did you check yourself right into the hospital for rhabdo, or did you go the next day?
Yeah. No, I think we've done a lot of like push-ups and pull-ups this month, and just like a lot of calisthenics in general. So I've always looked at it this way. If you could do a 10-minute mile and a 10-minute mile, and just do a of Cindy, and then the last 5 rounds I just went, and I think I finished in like 18 and a half minutes, and then was out the door for the last run, and the last run was like 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Murph should be 40 minutes or less based on that. I agree with you on that. If you're taking much longer than that, you're either running really slow or probably need help with your pull-ups. But I was using the park here.
It's the push-ups you look.
Yeah, but I mean, even when you lose the push-ups, you can go 6 and 4, 7 and 3, right? Like my push-ups have gotten really good since doing this challenge. But I was using there's like these 3 pull-up bar stations at the park, and they're all relatively low. So I have to do strict pull-ups. But then I found another spot in the playground that I can reach up and jump to, and now
they must be really low if you got to do strict pull-ups.
Well, it's like a kid's pull-up bar, yeah. But now I found a good spot that I can jump on, and I was telling you guys earlier, some guy was watching me. It turns out he was wearing a CrossFit shirt. So anyway, if anybody wants to hop in on that challenge, let me know. But we'll be back later this week. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to Best Hour of Their Day. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. How cool is that? There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, so it becomes super simple. Some of these episodes with Fern or Todd or myself chatting with one another, we've done right within the app itself. Anchor will make it easy to distribute your podcast to all platforms, Spotify, Apple, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make an awesome podcast in one place. All you have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Come on, who doesn't have Spotify at this point? And if you were unaware, Spotify now is offering podcasts. That's right. On Spotify, you can listen to all your favorite artists, but also podcasts in one place for free. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now, Best Hour of Their Day. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Premium users can even download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, something I always do before I hop on a plane. And you can even easily share what you're listening to with your friends on Instagram and other social media platforms. Here's the deal. If you haven't done so already, be sure to download the Spotify app, search for Best Hour of Their Day on Spotify, or browse some other podcasts if you want. You can find them in your library tab. And also make sure to follow me so you never miss an episode of Best Hour of Their Day. Thanks again for listening to Best Hour of Their Day. If you haven't already, do us a favor, head over to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback for either Fern or myself, hit us up, besthouroftheirday@gmail.com, or send us a DM over on Instagram at Best Hour of Their Day. Once again, we couldn't do this without the amazing community, and you are a part of it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting Best Hour of Their Day.